Hi everybody, it's Well Book Day today, so I thought I'd read you a book. We're doing Rainforest in Year 5, and I just thought I found this really nice book that I'd like to read to you. Okay, it's called The Great Kapok Tree, and it's to do with the rainforest, and it's got some amazing pictures in it. First page shows you this wonderful map that has all the different rainforests that you can see in green where they are in the world. Okay. The Great Kapok Tree, written and illustrated by Lynn Cherry. Two men walked into the rainforest. Moments before, the forest had been alive with the sounds of squawking birds and howling monkeys. Now all was quiet as the creatures watched the two men and wondered why they'd come. The larger man stopped and pointed to a great kapok tree. Then he left. The smaller man took the axe he carried and struck the trunk of the tree. Whack, whack, whack. The sound of the blows rang through the forest. The wood of the tree was very hard. Chop, chop, chop. The man wiped off the sweat that ran down his face and neck. Whack, chop, whack, chop. Soon the man grew tired. He sat down to rest at the foot of the great kapok tree. Before he knew it, the heat and the hum of the forest had lulled him to sleep. A picture of him trying to chop the tree down. A boa constrictor lived in the kapok tree. He slithered down its trunk to where the man was sleeping. He looked at the gash the axe had made in the tree. Then the huge snake slid very close to the man and hissed in his ear. Signor, this tree is a tree of miracles. It is my home where generations of my ancestors have lived. Do not chop it down. You can see the snake speaking to him while he's asleep. A bee buzzed in the sleeping man's ear. Signor, my hive is in the kapok tree, and I fly from tree to tree and flower to flower, collecting pollen. In this way I pollinate the trees and the flowers throughout the rainforest. You see, all living things depend on one another. There he is asleep, and the little bee is talking in his ear. The pictures are amazing. A troop of monkeys scampered down from the canopy of the kapok tree. They chattered to the sleepy man. Signor, we have been ways of a man. You chop down the tree, then come back to another and another. The roots of these great trees will wither and die, and there will be nothing left to hold the earth in place. When the heavy rains come, the soil will be washed away and the forest will become a desert. See all the monkeys looking at the man. A toucan, a macaw and a cockatoo flew down from the canopy. Signor, squawked the toucan, you must not cut down the tree. We have flown over the rainforest and seen what happens once you begin to chop down the trees. Many people settle on the land. They set fires to clear the underbrush, and soon the forest disappears. Where once there was life and beauty, only man and smouldering ruins remain. You can see them talking to him. A bright and small green tree frog crawled along the edge of the leaf. In a squeaky voice, he piped into the man's ear. Signor, a ruined rainforest means ruined lives. Many ruined lives. You will leave many of us homeless if you chop down the great kapok tree. Okay, you see the little frog talking to the man while he's asleep. A jaguar had been sleeping alongside a branch in the middle of the tree. Because his spotty coat blended into the dapple light and shadows of the understory, no one had noticed him. Now he leapt down and padded silently over to the sleeping man. He growled in his ear. Signor, the kapok tree is home to many birds and animals. If you cut it down, where will I find my dinner? I think I'll be a bit worried if one came up to me and started talking to me while I was asleep. 4 tree porcupines swung down from branch to branch and whispered to the man, Signor, do you know what animals and humans need in order to live? Oxygen. And Signor, do you know what tree produces? Oxygen. If you cut down the forest, you will destroy that which gives us all life. Okay. Pictures of the porcupines. Bit prickly. Several anteaters climbed down the kapok tree with their young clinging to their backs. The unstriped anteater said to the sleeping man, "Senor, you are chopping down the tree with no thought for the future, and surely you know that it happens tomorrow depends on what you do today. The big man tells you to chop down a beautiful tree. He does not think of his own children, whose tomorrow must live in a world without tree." The anteaters with their lovely long noses, so they can get into holes and collect the ants. A three-toed sloth had begun climbing down from the canopy when the men first appeared. Only now did she reach the ground. Plodding ever so slowly over to the sleeping man, she spoke in a deep and lazy voice. "Senor, how much is beauty worth? Can you live without it? If you destroy the beauty of the rainforest, on what would you feast your eyes?" I love sloths. They're so slow and simple. Look, it's got a little baby there as well. A child from the Yamano tribe who lived in the rainforest knelt over the sleeping man. He murmured in his ear, "Senor, when you awake, please look upon us all with new eyes." The young boy. This man's in a very deep sleep, isn't he? All these animals and people come up to him. The man awoke with a start. Before him stood the rainforest child, and all around him, staring, were the creatures who depended upon the great kapok tree. What wondrous and rare animals they were. And there they all are. All sitting around. The pictures are amazing. I really recommend if you can get hold of this book. It's a beautiful book. Some lovely pictures. The man looked about and saw the sun streaming through the canopy. Spots of bright light glowed like jewels amidst the dark green forest. Strange and beautiful plants seemed to dangle in the air, suspended from the great kapok tree. The man smelled the fragrant perfume of the flowers. He felt the steamy mist rising from the forest floor. But he heard no sound, for the creatures were strangely quiet. I wonder what he's thinking. What an amazing place to be. Look at the size of these leaves. They're huge. The man stood and picked up his axe. He swung back his arm as though to strike the tree. Suddenly he stopped. He turned and looked at the animals and the child. He hesitated. Then he dropped the axe and walked out of the rainforest. Here you can see he's gone, leaving the forest. There's a lovely letter here about the book, because the book was written over 30 years ago by the lady. And there's also more information on how you can help to save the energy and to save the rainforest in here, in the back of the book. All about how you can do things at home and in the community. And it finishes with a lovely, beautiful picture of the man and the snake slithering down the tree. I hope you enjoyed that book. As I say, I'm looking forward to learning a lot about the rainforest. And it's very, very important for our society and for our environment. So maybe you could do a little bit of finding out a little bit. And if you do, maybe you could let me know. Send me a message or something. So lovely. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.